And to start off, thank you all so much for coming out. We really appreciate your time and your energy, especially on a Saturday night, as always. So, without any further delay, we're going to get into our bi-weekly live call for this week. And in this week, as Austin just mentioned, we are going to be going over how to really succeed in OBR, how to set yourself up for success, and utilize OBR to its fullest potential. So, welcome. Austin, would you like to start?
Yeah. Okay. So this is what I said right in the beginning, even right before the recording. OBR is very much a tool. Yes, we are a community. We all have emotions. We all have similar goals and interests. But OBR is a tool that can be utilized properly and can be used incorrectly. Right. So to succeed in OBR, it requires time. It requires understanding, and it requires the proper utilization of everything that we offer you guys. There are inherent risks that present themselves when you join, especially if you're new to markets and you don't have an idea of how stuff works, right? So today we're going to be going over stuff of how to use OBR properly so you can have the most success and have the best bang for your buck, right? So
cool.
Go ahead, Logan. Yeah.
So we wanted to preface this talk with talking about our gains on social media. So many of you guys in here that are in here today have been brought in through TikTok, being shown crazy gains day in and day out. I'm sure you know what we're talking about. Griffin's infamous finger wag. So there's something that we need to tell you about those gains. They're real.
They are real.
They are real.
They are real. Yeah. Logan, do you want to go with this one or do you want me to hop on it?
Yeah, I'll do this one. You hop on next.
Okay, go ahead.
So, yes, if you are new, it may be hard to believe, but those gains are real. Those consistent 100 to 1,000% gains in our community are real. I'm sure a lot of the people that have been in here for a while know that to be true. That being said, we wanted to make this for a very specific reason. This talk was brought up upon by conversation that Austin and I had for quite a couple of weeks regarding expectations that people have. So, with that being said that we have those crazy gains, you must understand that markets are constantly changing and there are flows in volatility. There are not 100 to 1,000% gains to be made every day or every week. While we are here to capitalize on them and take full advantage of them when they present, we must understand that not every day is a day to wait for those kinds of gains and then to be upset when you do not reach them. There are ups and downs in your trading career, and over time you will see to understand this. Some days, taking 30% gains is a very good day.
It's better than being red, that's for sure.
Always better than being red.
Yeah. In this one, this is when we come to setting realistic expectations, right? So Logan has a great example here, and that's to think of your favorite hedge fund manager, or if you don't have a favorite hedge fund, just think of big money, right? Does that hedge fund or anchor organization, do they return over 100% a year on a yearly basis? Absolutely not. So as a retail trader, how can you have those expectations for yourself, right? That being said, we can and are able to get abnormally higher gains because we are retail traders and we're exposed to different kinds of risks, but as that being said, that's for another talk. You must set realistic expectations for yourself in order to be happy. If you think that you're going to make 100% on every trade, 100 to 1,000%, you will be upset and you're not going to do well, right? So be satisfied with the even 10 to 20% gains, the 30% gains. You need to have realistic expectations for yourself when you enter into a market, especially if you're a new trader. So just remember that every win is something to be celebrated, and it's better than being down. You know what I mean? So it's very important to have your expectations set with reality.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and that moves us into risk management. While we do hit those gains often, as we see in chat, not every trade is a winner, right? We have material on risk management, so we're not going to be going in depth here. It's in OBR education section. We've done many sections on this and even touched on it in our live calls very, very often. So please properly learn how to manage your risk. You need to understand per trade risk, per sector risk, and overall account risk. These things are truly essential to your survival as a trader. And I always have this metaphor that I like to bring up. Think of your capital as your lifeblood. Risk management is what keeps you alive and in the game. In order to make money, you need to be alive and trading. If you blow your account because you went all in on one of Bull's plays because you thought it was going to be a boom shakalaka and you lose, you're not here the next day to learn from those lessons and move forward, right? So learn how to survive to the next day, and over time, you will become a consistently profitable trader. Austin, do you have any touching
Right.
notes on what we just talked about?
No, I think that you covered the idea pretty well. It's really all about expectations in managing your risk and understanding how to utilize OBR, right? Because like we said, we promote these wonderful gains on TikTok, which are real, and Instagram, which are real, right? They happened, but it's something that you need to know that if you set that as an expectation for yourself, then you will be disappointed, right? I always use the comparison to the gym with trading, right? If you go to the gym and you see some guy or girl, right, that's much more physically fit than you, and you start comparing yourself and your expectations get out of whack, you're not going to be satisfied with the actual improvements that you're making to your body. Right, so the same thing with trading. You need to be satisfied with the small gains. The big ones will come. You're going to have big wins. You're going to have losses as well. But what's really important is staying in the game, keeping your account alive, and not blowing up an account, right? So, we felt the need to cover this topic because we've been seeing people, winning trades for like 30, 40%, and they seem to be disappointed, right? And that's nothing to be disappointed about. That should be celebrated, right? So, now what we're going to do is we're kind of just going to have a quick walkthrough OBR, kind of like a tutorial on how to understand each of the channels and how to properly utilize it throughout the week during trading hours. So
Yes. Before we move into that, I was actually curious. Ben, I see you in here. I was curious if you had any thoughts to add on the conversation we just had.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad that you guys, this is something that I think is incredibly important. If not, besides all the amazing other classes that have taken place, this one definitely hits home for me because I think that in the beginning of things, and this goes for maybe, like you said, people who are newer to the markets, the expectations I think are. It's hard to solidify them when you're first getting into things, and it also it depends on the filtering of the information that you do. Like, for example, if you see something online, you can, and you read something else in a book, for example, like about, okay, these are what expectations should be as a trader, and then you have people like you, Austin, a bunch of other people as well, kind of preaching every day on the philosophy of it, how it works. That's something that should be listened to with a grain of salt, if that's even a saying. Like, not or not with a grain of salt, without a grain of salt, whatever the opposite of that is. But you get the point. It's exactly like you said. Your skin is only in the game for two reasons: that your portfolio is still there, and that you're a living human being. That's really the basis of it. One of them goes, you're out of the game. And the other one, thank God, is more likely than the other, is that's probably the chance, right? That you would either do really well and perform, or you would blow up your portfolio for a variety of different reasons and figure out otherwise why that could have been the case. But then you look back and you're like, oh, I did that. And I think that's really the big basis of everything, is we want to really like smash that learning curve, and that's why we're here every day, and really trying to improve the product and the service. So yeah, I think that, it couldn't have been put better. It's all about expectations and setting them for yourself. So that's not to say, I can't, you set your expectations low just cause, but set them realistic to, I think, Logan, a lot of things that you talk about: market context, your portfolio size, your experience. So you need to be able to sort of align all those things with your expectations, right? Because like you said, if you think about, I don't know, one of the biggest, wealth managers out there, right? They have a lot of, they have a lot of experience. They have a lot of this. So their expectations are very high for themselves inherently, but if you need to be able to connect those dots, and I think that's how you'll be able to set really realistic expectations for yourself, because it's difficult sometimes, for sure.
Yeah. And this not only applies to OBR and to trading, but it's just a general life lesson on psychology, right? Having your expectations set where you need them to be so you don't set yourself up for failure, right? which is really important. So
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people come into this industry and they have that get rich quick mentality, which
is bad.
It's understandable from the kinds of just how the industry is set up. And when I first joined, I may have had the same mentality. I probably did. I was a younger guy, but you learn as soon as you get into this industry that that's not the reality of the situation. Unless you have big bucks and you can consistently trade those big bucks, you're not going to get rich quickly, right?
Right.
So you need to be able to set realistic expectations, like Ben said, in accordance with who you are as a trader, where you are in your journey, and according to your risk management. If I'm risking, for example, 0.5% of my account because I'm conservative, I shouldn't be expecting to pull 10% out of the market monthly. So just another thing to point on that.
Yeah, and I don't know if remember what I said the other day, Logan, right? We're all unique. We're all individuals. It's not a race, right? We can't get caught up with comparing ourselves to other people. We're all on our own unique path, and it's very much applicable to trading and how much money you make in these markets.
Absolutely. So Austin, would you like to share your screen on Discord and then go through everything we're going to talk about?
That.
Great.
Okay, let's see here. So I'm going to share my screen. Just let me know if it is working properly. I think it should be. Can you see it?
1 second, just fixing up the recording.
Yep, take your time. So what we're going to do now, guys, is we're just going to go, with a quick little walkthrough of the OBR server and, where you should be kind of looking during the week, what you should be doing, and how to, get the most out of OBR, right? So just let me know when I can get started, Logan.
Yep, go ahead.
Walk through. Awesome. All right. So obviously starting out, we have our news networks where we have our OBR links. You can go and find all the links to our analysts' personal pages, our YouTube, all of our social media sites, all that great jazz. If you want to find out anything more about OBR or the individuals behind OBR, you can find their links right here. We have our OBR media where we see, we have our Twitter bots, so like all of our tweets are in here. So if you want to use that, more than welcome to use it. It's a good way to keep track of what we're talking about on Twitter. If you don't have Twitter right now, everyone likes social media. We have our news filters, right? This just gives a good idea of what's going on through the news. We take a lot of information from Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal. So it's not bad. I use it sometimes myself just to see what's going on. Then we have our OBR lobby. This is very much kind of the casual section of OBR. This isn't really applicable to helping you as a trader, but it is applicable to being a part of the community and maybe talking to people that have goals that are similar to you and similar interests, right? So we have a general chat. We have places where you can ask questions, server suggestions, about you, and then obviously our success page where if you guys have a winning trade, you're more than welcome to post your success there. Then we have our suck less page where if you have a loss, hey, sometimes it's important to show the losses, and that's what people do. Not every day is going to be a winner, and this is part of the setting your expectations with reality, right? It's very important that we have this suck less page because if we didn't, then we wouldn't be acknowledging the whole idea of trading, right? So moving down, this is kind of where we're going to get into the spice of OBR, right? And that's the trading floor. So obviously we have our free chat, which is where the free members, the non-premium members will be talking. This will be kind of their general chat. But where most of the talking goes on and where most of the discussion goes on within the community is definitely in stock chat, right? Though we don't talk about cryptocurrency in there as much. That's in currency chat. The main conversations throughout the day where the analysts will be speaking, where people will be talking, giving ideas, all that jazz, will be in stock chat. So if you are an OBR premium member and you do trade equities, I would suggest to spend most of your time in this chat. Would you agree, Logan?
Absolutely. That's where a lot of the energy is going on throughout the day. Conversation happening in there pretty much 24/7.
Yep. Quite literally. It doesn't sleep.
It's a great place to ask questions as well.
It is. Nothing really goes by unseen. If you ask a question, even if an analyst can't get to it, then you will have a member or a mod or somebody get to your question. So, and then the same thing kind of happens in currency chat, only instead of the stock market or equities, we're talking about cryptocurrency, right? So these are the two main chats. Stock chat and currency chat is where you're going to see the conversation throughout the week taking place, okay? Then we come down here to member plays. This is where some of our members, right? If you are an OBR member and you have a play that you like, you're more than welcome to post it in here. We'd love trade ideas or just general market outlooks, right? Feel free to utilize this. Every day we also post a market recap, a daily market recap, and we also have a weekly recap, right? These are presented by our mods, our moderators here at OBR, and pretty much all they do is at the end of the day, they give a brief rundown of what happened and what went on in the server and what went on in markets, right? Just in case you were to miss a day, you can just come here at the end of the day and you'll be able to get a quick idea of what went on. Down below here, we also have our earnings week. Every week we create custom files or custom visuals to show what companies have earnings on what day, and it's very helpful. I use these all the time, right? When people ask me who has earnings, I go right here and I'm looking at them, and we can see right away what earnings are what in what time. We see before open, right? So this would be before the market opens, and then after close, right? So as soon as the market closes, these companies will have earnings. So very helpful. You should utilize those if you're at all curious as to what earnings are taking place, right? Right on the server. Obviously, you can go online and look for yourself as well. These are the analyst ratings. This was recently put into the server not too long ago. This just gives us an update about big analysts on Wall Street or on hedge funds if they change or update or downgrade prices on a specific equity. You'll typically see it in here. Now there is a lot in here, but sometimes you'll be able to catch a ticker that right? So right here I see Snow. Morgan Stanley analyst says maintain Snowflake equal weight and raises the price from $295 to $344. So hey, maybe that's not a ton of information, but it definitely is interesting, right? Especially if you were invested into Snow. So you can definitely use this chat, but it's nothing that is definitely mandatory for the success of OBR. It's just another tool that we offer. Down below here is ChartBot. This is where you can throw in a command to, let's say, see the futures, right? See what is the market doing right now. You can get a good idea of what's going on in the markets. And there's a ton of different commands. I don't typically use these, but I know a lot of members do. And you can see option flow there. Obviously, this isn't top tier option flow. This is a free options bot, but it's definitely utilized by a lot of our members. And it's a good place to look. And then this is the unusual options page where you can see actual trades being made by whales, right? Now this isn't, again, just another tool that we offer. I wouldn't use these as trades, but it's just as more insight to see what big money is doing. I'm a big fan of options flow. I use black box stocks, which we always are presenting information from. I know a lot of people use Flow Algo, Cheddar Flow, all those great things, but that's just the general concept that we're presenting here, right? So that is our trading floor, and that's where a lot of the conversation in general input and output of members takes place throughout the day and throughout the week, right? Even on the weekends, right? You're going to see people actively talking in stock chat, currency chat, and free chat. So now we go lower. Logan, I definitely want to hear you talk about this stuff if you want to. But we have our analyst page and our analyst section. Would you want to go over that?
Sure. Yeah. So This is the area to be when you're wanting to look at plays that current analysts are taking. And also, I think that we should preface this, Austin, with the Start Here page, where you can actually subscribe to certain analyst plays channels, which is very, very important. It's very important that everybody. It's not Start Here, actually. It should be. Do you know?
No, it is Start Here. It's Start Here. Yep.
No, I don't think that's it.
React to analysts.
Yeah, but there's another room that if you click on, you get subscribed to their analyst plays channel. Correct?
Hey, Austin, can you just mute when Logan talks, just because it's echoing?
Oh, yep.
Okay, so yes, when you go in, you'll be able to give yourself a tag when you click on these analyst plays. And what that'll do is whenever we tag everybody in our analyst channels, you'll be able to get notified directly whenever we are making a play, posting analysis, or answering questions, or also posting PDFs. We also post weekly watch lists on Sunday. Almost all of the analysts are doing that. So it's very important to be aware of which analysts are in the markets that you're participating in, which analysts have similar risk management strategies to you, and also which caters just overall to your trading tool belt, to your trading DNA. So you can really cater the analyst plays to you and who you are. In our analyst plays, we really answer everything. We go over all of our favorite plays.
Quick, apologize for interrupting. But,
no worries.
For some reason, it's still echoing on your end.
On my end?
Yeah.
I recommend muting Austin's stream. That's what I did. I'm not getting any echoing, nor is the video.
Try now.
Hello?
There we go.
Cool. Okay, if anybody has any issues, make sure that you just right-click on Austin's stream and then lower the stream volume. You'll still be able to hear him. So again, analyst plays are just Austin. If you want to scroll down to the analysts' channels, you'll be able to see here. For example, Andy is posting stock plays, options plays very, very quickly. He's putting all of his updates in here as well as his technical analysis. I'm sure everybody's very familiar with Bull. Bull is doing the same thing, all of his updates on all of his plays. CM is an options trader as well, posting a little bit longer term and both shorter term, as well as some success posts that everybody loves to see. And then you have my analyst chat, which I'm doing Forex, crypto, and options now, as well as Austin's at the top up there. And, sorry, didn't mean to miss Seb. Seb is a newer member of our team just recently, and Seb is mainly an options trader, mainly long-term. And we also have staff plays below, where all of our wonderful moderators are putting in their plays, or anybody else that's a part of the team. So it's very, very important. I think the analysts' rooms are actually one of the most valuable sections in the Discord that everybody really should be utilizing to their full efficiency.
Totally, I agree. Can you guys hear me? I know we have some problems, and I had to mute myself.
Yes.
Am I coming through okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
great.
yeah. I was going to ask real quick.
Hold on a sec. We'll go through questions at the end. Just want to make sure we get through everything. I just want to make sure that, if you guys are an OBR, make sure that you go to start here and that you go and look through, all the analysts, right? Find an analyst that maybe that caters to your needs as a trader that you find interesting, right? It shows the average trades per day, the average risk, the kind of focus they have, the style, right? It's like kind of picking a character in a video game in a fun way when you think about it like that. But yeah, you just go to start here. You can react to every single one if you want, but the moment you react, you will get notified when an analyst posts in their given analyst chat. And yeah, this is very much, I would argue, is the heart of OBR, right? This is where a lot of the ideas, a lot of the trade ideas emerge from, is the analyst chats. And this is, we have a lot of really good analysts that all have their own different style. I would argue that no analyst here is similar really at all, right? They all kind of view the market in their own different way and trade in their own different way. So that's a huge benefit, and that gives a lot of eyes. When you have a lot of eyes on the same thing, you can see, you can get a much better idea of what's going on in the markets. So our analyst team is super badass, and I definitely suggest that you, I suggest that you react to all of them, right? Because if getting notifications from all of them is not a bad thing. It's not like notifications on your phone. You're just going to see the bubble pop up on the screen and next to the analyst chat, and you'll be able to view it and see what they have to say. So definitely utilize the analysts chat, and it's definitely a big part of OBR. If you're not utilizing that, then you are definitely not getting the bang for your buck out of OBR. The analysts are badass. Now, the next part. What do we have here? Where we are right now. This is our voice chat, and this is throughout the week. A lot of people will be coming in here to have general conversations about the market, talk about what's going on, doing live TA, doing live fundamental TA, right? Going on websites, looking at what a company's about, doing all that great stuff. We also, every day, Monday through Friday, host a 3:30 p.m. Live call, which we go over the market and do a complete market recap and answer any questions that you may have, right? And it'll be right in this chat right here. And this is only available to premium trial or premium members in OBR. So if you are a free member, you will not have access to this chat unless it is a Friday. Okay? So this is a premium service that you are in right now. Logan, do you have any thoughts on the live chat?
I would say that this is actually, besides the analyst chats, the heart and soul of, and the energy really, in OBR. There's people in here every morning, usually starting at 8:30 all the way up until 12. That's when we usually go out for lunch. And then like Austin said, our live calls at 3:30. Those are where we're going to recap the market for the day, go over all of our main plays, answer a lot of questions for you guys, and do TA as well on any plays that you're currently eyeing up. Our bi-weekly calls should absolutely be utilized. If you guys haven't seen all of them, I recommend going onto our YouTube and checking them out. They're incredibly valuable, all of them. The live call is really where all the magic happens, in my opinion. We have great conversations in here almost every single day.
Yeah. And guys, this isn't a typical bi-weekly call that we do. Usually we'll have some sort of topic, whether that be technical analysis, market psychology, or general market indicators, right? We typically like to have a subject that can be applicable into your trading, but we felt the need to do something this week where we could just help out the members of our OBR, to help set you up for success, right? To understand the server, to know where to put your focus, where to put your time when you're in the server, right? So, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Any
We
other
also-
thoughts? I mean, other than that, it's.
I just wanted to touch on, we're also starting to expand into a couple more projects. I'm sure you guys may have noticed we had a community gambling night the other week, which I'm pretty sure is going to be a pretty consistent thing. So if anybody is into, I believe it was done on Poker Stars. I'm not sure what you guys played, but I'm sure everybody said they had a great time. So be sure to look out for those. We have market forecasts coming on our YouTube channel every single week now, so that's something to look forward to. There's a lot of very recurring events that I think everybody should be aware of and taking full use out of, considering you guys are paying for the service and we're trying our absolute best to deliver the full value that we can at all times.
Totally. And then, obviously, we do have room for casual, fun, right? If you're into video games and you find somebody in here that likes to play games, we have a chat room that you can go ahead and, talk and go play Call of Duty or whatever. It's called the Gamers Room right here. We also have a one-on-one education room where, if you wanted to talk to an analyst about something and they had some free time, then you could definitely hop in here and they could help you out. Something that was recently added is
It wasn't added yet.
Critique My Trades.
It wasn't added yet.
What's that?
It's not added yet.
Oh, Critique My Trades is not added yet.
It will be added soon. It'll be added soon.
It's being added. Well, we can see the visual here anyways.
Yeah.
It will be added soon, and what this pretty much is that if you have a trade idea or a trade that you made, you'll be able to throw it in there, and then an analyst will then be able to critique it, right? So that will maybe what you could have done better, maybe that you did a really great job and keep on doing what you did, right? Getting someone else's opinion on one of your trading decisions, whether it be a win or a loss, is always a great thing, because maybe you have won a trade, maybe you won a lot of money on a trade, you made a ton of money and it went really well for you. Then you throw it into the Critique My Trades and you say, hey, what do you think about this? Did I do a great job? The analyst could say that you did a great job, but maybe you got lucky, right? And that's a very important thing to do, right? You have to be aware that if you got lucky, it's like, okay, maybe that could have went wrong really quickly. And I should know about that, right? So this is something that's going to be very useful for members when it does come out. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Last but not least, we do have our OBR resources. This is where this is links to our website where you could go and just learn about the general topics. The OBR analyst team, for quite some time, I don't know how long it was, but for quite some time, we're developing our own educational content. We actually have a whole website full of educational content, all originally made by OBR analysts, handwritten, all done.
It's really good.
Completely by us, right? So it's all original content that I think you guys can get a ton of value on. And I definitely think you should utilize this, especially if you have any questions regarding these specific topics, right? The main ones being option trading, technical analysis, cryptocurrency, the stock market, or equities, personal finance, and of course, risk management, which is our favorite. I also recommend, if you guys read it all, we have a book section. Take a look at some of these titles of books. These are what the OBR analysts recommend. Some picks from all of our analysts. I haven't read all of these, but I'm sure there's a lot of great reads in here, and I'm sure you could get a lot of information just out of these books alone. So definitely go check them out if you are a reader. But yeah, Logan, is there anything else that you wanted to cover that you felt that we needed to touch on?
I think we touched on everything in OBR right now, but we also made this week's subject a little bit shorter due to the fact that the last couple of times we did these live calls, we did not leave a whole lot of time for questions. And me and Austin were talking a little bit prior, and judging by what happened last night, we're sure that there are plenty of questions. So now, Austin, unless you have anything else, or Ben, you have anything else, I think we can open the floor to questions.
I'm good to go. Yeah, I'm ready to answer some questions. And you guys, if you have questions about general markets, right, it doesn't have to necessarily be about OBR. We understand that there's only so many questions you can ask about the server layout. So, we're definitely here to help you guys out with anything that you need right now. So, go ahead. I can unshare. Should I unshare my screen, Logan?
Yep.
Okay.
I also have live chat VC mute pulled up, so. Ben just mentioned, any poker night is free with prizes provided by OBR. So, if you like playing poker, make sure to keep an eye out for those games.
And I know some people have some questions because someone was eager to ask something earlier and I cut them off. Somebody's got a question. And you guys can speak right up. But if not, it is 100% okay.
We have one coming in. Oh, now it's gone.
I have a good question, Austin.
I'm all ears, Ben.
All right. So I would say how many, like when you go into a trade, how many times do you think and go into it, or how many times, prior and say in the beginning, would you say that you said, okay, I'm going to stop going into trades because my expectations aren't being met? Meaning, how many times did you like have to be basically pounded to be able to say, okay, my expectations are not there, and I need to switch pace essentially. I think it'd be pretty interesting to kind of reflect on that because I've definitely done that before.
Well,
Like
expect
when my
your proper expectations will be developed with experience in the market. Um, that's really all it comes down to, because the longer you spend in the market, then the longer you're alive, right? So that means you're doing okay, especially if you're an active trader. So it's all about developing your own strategy that works, right? I mean, if you're consistently doing 50% gainers, 50% on your entire portfolio every day, then the more power to you. But yeah, there was never really a moment of clarity where I was like, oh, this is what happens. But I'm not sure if I necessarily understand your question.
I mean, I might be able to provide an answer.
Yeah, go ahead, Logan.
Ben just triggered a memory that I actually completely lost. But I would say around year 2 of my trading, I was taking these trades, and I remember I had very, very large take profit levels. And that would be the same thing. I was trading Forex, but that would be the same thing in options as looking for that 100, 2,000% gain that we were talking about prior. And I was losing consistently. Why? Because my expectations were that I could hit these huge trades, but I was not properly reacting to what the market was actually giving me, which brings in another thing that Ben brought up that I always talk about, which is market context and seeing what the market's giving you. And, being ready for those trades that are really good trades, those boom shakalaka trades. You can see what the market's giving you and say, okay, this trade is 30% winner, but there's a high probability that this is going to reverse, and I may even lose money if I hold this trade. So I'm going to take this trade now. Or this thing's going in my direction. I'm going to hold this trade and see where it can go. I'm going to move my stop loss to break even. I'm going to move my stop loss into profit. So either way, I'm not losing money on this trade. But I'm going to just ride it out, see where it can go. So does that answer your question, Ben?
Yeah, and when you brought that up again to the market context, it actually just struck up a good example for me. It's like this week, for example. So I don't know, many people, I've talked to you guys about it, but I'm a big Tesla guy. I love trading Tesla. I like the volatility it brings me. And one thing that I was thinking about this week too that kind of reflects onto that is, okay, this week arguably was not a good week in the market. Tesla is down however much percent on the week or in the last 2 weeks. And I like to play Tesla both sides, but because of its inherent volatility, I like to play the upside usually on Tesla. Those are the setups I look for. And with that, for example, Tesla on a week like this, Logan, what would you expect to get out of a Tesla trade if you're playing on the upside on a rather volatile sort of downwards week? Not that much, right?
Right.
Not that much. So right before that, if I were to say enter a trade on something like that, I'm thinking, all right, let's see 5%, 10%. If depending on the position, I can scale out, scale in. If I want to capture any unrealized profits, but that's a good example to me. You know what I mean? Like, those are my expectations for say Tesla when the market is extremely down, volatile, and I'm trying to play the upside. I'm not looking for much. Now, if you want to play on the upside in a very good market, then you can maybe try to think about it. Okay, my expectations might be different in the context of what's going on in the market now. 10 years looking good. Over the S&P is looking amazing. VIX is down. I shouldn't, my expectations can adjust based on that. So I think that, I don't know, that was like an example that kind of struck me in a way of thinking about setting your expectations in a way, especially for say, a day trader or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah. Adjusting to what the market is showing
Each
you.
Yeah, each trade should have its own expectations individually, right? Because each trade is its own different case scenario and should be treated as such, right? The only thing that should not be treated differently is your risk management. So yeah, and obviously that differs depending on if you're trading options. if you're on leverage, or if you're just owning equity, right? Obviously, the risk management strategies are different. But yeah.
And I'm trying to look for a pretty good example. Let's see. For example, Austin, you played AMC call
Yep.
and in a downturning market. What
Yep.
what could you have asked for more than a 20 cent premium change in a down market? You know what I mean?
I could have asked for more, but it's just a matter of me understanding that, it's like there's a lot of uncertainty in the market, and we got to secure gains. Nobody ever went broke taking profits. So yeah, maybe if I took that play and I took profits like 15%, maybe I didn't capitalize on that to the fullest. I didn't sell at the top, but I did, that was a winning play. And I knew that when I took that play that it was rather risky. So my expectations were like, okay, if this goes up, if I'm in the green even the slightest, like I'm going to cut this out and it's going to be a quick scalp, right?
Exactly.
So it's right. And that comes down to context, right? Each trade's different. Every day in the market is different. And you need to understand these things, right? It's not right? I'm sure a lot of you guys in here, and I'm not, maybe not, right? But a lot of the people that have just gotten into investing, and I'm like, OBR is like a testament to this, right? The emergence of the retail trader. It's quite interesting. So yeah, kind of forgot what I was going to say, but Logan, go ahead.
No, I didn't have anything.
Yeah.
I was going to move on to Davo's question, though, if we were good on that one.
What is the question?
When entering swings for a couple weeks or months out, what do you guys look for?
That's a great question. I mean, obviously we look for good technicals, good market conditions, and just an overall understanding of what you're trading. But yeah, I mean, Logan, do you have any comments for that? That's a very broad question.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say that it is a bit of a broad question, but my answer would be the same as yours. When I'm looking at swings for a couple of weeks or months out, I'm looking for impeccable technicals and everything lining up. Also, if we're looking at options, you need to pick the proper expiration date, the proper strike price as well. So there's other factors, but yeah, the technicals would be the main thing that I'm going to be looking for.
Yeah, like higher it's all a game of probabilities. So even if you do have a wonderful setup, right, it still might not work. You just want the probability to be in your favor to the fullest extent that it can be.
And manage your risk. Yeah.
And risk management, of course. Yeah.
So Big Buck says, just got the book on Elliott Wave Principle. First of all, fantastic book. I refer to that thing as the Bible of technical analysis because it really is. Fully utilize that as much as you can. You can reference that book with just about anything you need in Elliott Wave. Is there any other written education on TA that you guys recommend? And then Cam, being the gentleman he is, linked the OBR Investing Technical Analysis section. Besides that, I don't know.
I forgot. I remember what I was going to say.
Okay.
Yes. So the emergence of the retail trader, right? And we see this from OBR in 2020. The market was much different after COVID, right, than it is right now. This is a much more difficult market to trade than it was a year ago, right? We saw that the S&P 500 and all markets, for that fact, kind of just went straight up, and you could have thrown a dart at the board and been correct, right? So then maybe your expectations for your trade could have been much higher. But right now, when you acknowledge current market conditions, you acknowledge what's kind of going on, you set your expectations for that, and you adjust yourself as a trader. So that's kind of what I was getting to. I lost my train of thought earlier, but sorry, Logan. That's just what I wanted to say.
No, I'm glad you got it out.
Yep.
Is there any other written education on TA you guys recommend? Besides for the technical analysis section on our website, written education on TA, I don't have any. Just the Elliott Wave Principle book. And the stuff that we wrote, I think that sums up everything. How about you, Austin?
That's it. Yeah. And obviously, guys, right? There's more to trading than what we offer at OBR. Like, I am constantly on YouTube, on Google. I'm just a pig for information. Any new information that I can learn about anything, I'm absorbing it like a sponge, right? And that's a big part to it as well. So not only utilizing OBR, but utilizing everything at your disposal, right? You have the internet. So there's a ton of great information out there to understand technical analysis or any subject that you're willing to learn, right?
Absolutely.
You could teach yourself how to do anything these days, right? Like, I'm not a big car guy, but if I really wanted to, I could go learn how to take apart a motor and put it back together just through YouTube.
Absolutely. And also, I would recommend, asking questions in OBR, because that's another big thing that you guys are paying for, is our help, and we can help with just about any question you have. So be sure to ask us questions in stock chat and currency chat. We're always glad to help.
Yeah, there's not a lot of questions we're not going to be able to answer.
Pertaining to markets.
Pertaining to markets, yeah. There's not a lot of, we usually will give you something to help you out. So, yeah. Like I said, guys, this isn't a typical live call, bi-weekly call that we would do. It's not necessarily filled with educational content to improve you as a trader, but just to rather understand kind of what we do here at OBR and how to utilize our service properly, right? And I know we kind of jumped around quickly, but definitely utilize the stuff that we pointed out, and I think you'll get along just fine at OBR. So, and you'll get a chance to meet the rest of the staff. So if you are new here, right, if you join these live calls, you'll run into Clayton. He's a great guy, and he'll help you out. And he's his own person as well, right? He thinks differently than me and Logan. He might give you a different opinion than me and Logan. So
Probably
there's
will.
a ton of great minds that work at OBR. That's why I say that it's like when you have all of these analysts, all these really smart people, all looking at one market, you get all of these different perspectives, right? And it just really gives you a great idea of what's going on in the context of the market, So, and when you see a confluence, right? When you see kind of, right? If you see me, Logan, and Clayton and Andy all kind of agree on something, then you could be like, maybe there's some valid truth to this, right? Or then maybe if you see us disagree on something, then maybe it's a sense of uncertainty, right? So you can get a lot of information from our analysts. I saw a PDF earlier, 3 different possibilities for BTC. Oh, great. Logan, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that would be me who had the PDF on BTC. You can find it in my analyst chat.
I would perfectly, I would not be mad if you guys wanted to talk about crypto right now, because that's going into this topic. Going into this call, I was figuring no one's going to care about. They're just about OBR. They're all just watching their crypto portfolios take a hit, and that's probably all they care about. Unfortunately, that has to happen during this call, but I would not be upset if you guys had questions regarding the crypto market right now. I'm sure Logan wouldn't be either.
No, absolutely not. I'd love to talk about it. Considering we have a much better perspective after we just spent 2 hours considering all the possibilities.
Yeah, me and Logan just had a very long talk trying to determine where we are in this market. And though it may be, we think we have a general understanding, it's still,
it's still very unclear.
There's a level of uncertainty right now. Yep, in this market.
Do you guys see a possibility of ETH taking a strong run here, even if BTC goes bearish? Austin, you go first.
Yeah, I think that if Ethereum is going to make a push against Bitcoin right now is kind of
the time.
The golden time for it to do so. But keep in mind, right, for ETH to gain against BTC, the ETH USD pair doesn't necessarily need to do anything. If Ethereum stays at $4,000 and Bitcoin drops, then ETH is gaining against Bitcoin, right? And I actually just posted in my analyst chat, if you, utilize the analyst chat. If you go up and you can scroll up, you'll see that I posted a bunch of things regarding market dominance, right? Bitcoin dominance, Ethereum dominance, and the general altcoin dominance in the market, right? So, yeah, it's very interesting. But just to answer your question, yeah, I think right now ETH is primed to make a move against Bitcoin if it's going to do so. Right now would be a great time for it to make a run. Logan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually think ETH looks better than just about everything right now, and I think ETH is still primed to make its next move higher, despite this shakeout that we just had last night. That being said, those are just 3 confluences that I have that I'm looking at. One being a wave count, one being a resistance turn support fractal, and the other being a resistance turn support line. I just shared my chart in chat if anybody wants to take a look. But in terms of cryptos right now that I'm looking at, Ethereum is one holding up better than most of them, and it looks better than almost all of them. So, what were you going to say, Austin?
I was just going to say that altcoins in general right now are holding up relatively well compared to Bitcoin. And we can see that from the charts, right? If we go look at the other chart, and I could share my screen or send a picture, but the market really, the dominance level for altcoins against Bitcoin is holding up very, very well. So, yeah, in what's the king of altcoins? It's Ethereum, right? Even if you were to consider Ethereum an altcoin at this point. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see altcoins make a move, or at least some of them, right? Because they are showing relative strength compared to the almighty Bitcoin, right?
Yep.
How much longer do you think crypto market will be bearish? And is that a downtrend related to the denial of the Bitcoin ETF? No, I can almost with 100% certainty tell you that this move had nothing to do with the Bitcoin ETF.
We actually did talk about the causes that spurred this event to happen last night, Austin, if you want to touch on those.
Yeah, now there's no way of us actually pointing to what caused this capitulation, and I call it a capitulation because we just jackknifed straight down, and Bitcoin does like to do this sometimes. But what me and Logan kind of came to the conclusion of is that there were too many people long, right? The market was way too over leveraged, and we were not in a healthy state. So I think this was an artificial move to the downside that was caused pretty much to liquidate those people. Not saying that any people are, it's not like there's bad people out to get you, but the markets, right? They are in a sense there are whales, right? And whales don't want they want the market to stay healthy, and they don't want everyone becoming a millionaire, right? They're gonna liquidate people that are in very safe positions when they're leveraged long, especially if they're right, depending on how right what your leverage is, right? But
right, we were looking at insane levels of open interest at the highest level we've ever seen before, and pretty much all that means is people are going out and buying Bitcoin on leverage. They are completely over leveraged. In the last 24 hours, we saw $2.59 billion erased. 720 trading accounts completely liquidated. So,
and we're probably going to see more.
Most likely. But 1,500 Bitcoin were sold in 1 minute last night. So there's a very high probability that this was just caused by whales. Whatever reasons they may have underlying, we can't say for sure. But there was definitely a coordination behind this fall.
And it kind of threw a fork into things because it invalidated, right, this move to the downside. It invalidated a lot of technical ideologies. Not fully, but it made me and Logan sit in live chat for 2 to 3 hours figuring out where we are in this market and what's going on. Because I personally did not expect Bitcoin to immediately drop, below 49K. But yet here we are. We saw it move all the way down to the low 40,000. I'm very happy to see Bitcoin hold above 40,000 for the time being. But yeah, it's quite interesting. That's why it's important, guys. As crazy as it may sound, and I know you may not want to hear it, but that's why it's important to take profits along the way, right? You have to be comfortable with realizing gains. That's why it's the same ideology in options, guys. Like when I'm up 15% on a day trade, most of the time in a Licknack Alerts on my analyst page, I'm closing that position at 15%, even 10% sometimes, right? Because even though I'm not getting these ridiculous gains, I'm winning, right? And if I stay consistently winning, it will have a compounding effect on my portfolio.
Austin's win rate is like sickening. In a good way.
But I have losses too, right? We all have losses. It's is what it is. But it's just about how do you mitigate those losses and keep them as low as possible. It's just like anything else in life, right? If you most good traders, Logan, they all have one thing in common, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. They all kind of take a big loss in their career as a trader, and that big loss, in many cases, is like the pivot point of what kind of makes them into the elite trader, right? It's like anything else you do in life, guys, right? If you're a fighter in the UFC or you're a boxer, if you go your whole career undefeated, you're never really, yes, that's great, but you're never really growing, right? Experiencing loss and knowing how to handle those things is going to make you into a very durable person, and is going to ultimately net benefit you, right? I'm not saying go out and purposely lose, but even the best traders lose.
There is no loss. There is just feedback. But you're absolutely right. I have seen that a lot in a lot of the successful traders that I've spoken to. I know it happened to me. At one point, it was thankfully pretty early on in my trading career, but you definitely at some point need to be humbled in the sense and understand probabilities, understand risk management, and understand that your emotions play a larger role in this game than you think. Because when I blew up, for my example, it was within a year when I first started trading, or maybe a year and a half. But I remember I was cocky. I was like, I'm printing money. going to buy my mom some new Louis Vuitton bags. I'm going to do all this stuff, right? I'm just printing money. And I got cocky, and then I had a loss. And you know what? I never had a loss bigger than that again.
Yep, when you get humbled, it'll teach you something.
It teaches you a lot. Yeah.
It teaches you a lot, definitely. And hopefully you guys never have to experience that. I honestly don't. I don't want anyone here to take a big loss. That's kind of what we're here for, right? We took the loss for you, and we kind of bit the bullet for you. And we're then, kind of relaying the information that we learned from that to you guys, right? And that's pretty much to have proper expectations, understand market context, and just, understand proper risk management. Because if you don't do those things, you're gonna take one of those big losses that me and Logan are referring to, and you're gonna learn by yourself. You're gonna learn the things I just said independently without me being there, and it'll be in the form of great financial loss, which isn't fun. So it's much better just to take the information that we're telling you right now and apply it to your trading strategy now, right? So, yeah. Solana held its own last night for sure. Stayed pretty strong. Yeah, I mean, if you bought Solana any time in the past 6 months, I have a hard time believing it's going to go back below, what it was at. I remember I bought a bunch at like $30, right? I would be hard pressed to ever see it go back below that. But Solana very strong. Like I said, altcoins in general are holding up very, very well. Though they have dipped in general market context against Bitcoin with their dominance, they are holding up very, very well. You guys think the correlation with the crypto event in Miami right now? No, I don't think any event. I mean, maybe could, but there's just no way of me being able to determine if that is a fact or not.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
You think it will have a large impact on the NU IPO? I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. I just Googled it and I actually couldn't find out what it is.
You could tell us what NU is, and I would be able to help you. But yeah, if anybody else has any other questions, regarding trading ideologies, markets, right? Maybe a equity or an asset that you guys want to know about, or on the topic of conversation, a question about OBR, I'd love to help you out. And Logan as well, and Ben. So, and you guys can speak up as well. You can use your mics. You don't have to type. We don't bite. But we'll give it a few more minutes here, and I don't want to leave anybody hanging if anybody's shy or whatever. I know how it goes, so we'll be patient.
See some people typing.
Yeah. They can take their time. But yeah, quite a fun evening we're having here. Never good to see Bitcoin down, whole market down. 49K as we speak.
Did you see my comment, Austin, on
No.
margin debt, especially this past week too? It's been teetering around like $1 trillion, honestly, which I think some of the downside might have been.
So this makes sense, Ben, for a few reasons, right? So you know how I use flow, option flow. And pretty much what option flow is just seeing a constant feed of unusual option activity. And for the past few weeks, or past 2 weeks, couple of weeks, I have seen an absence of big money in the market. So right now, I would say a lot of big money is kind of sitting on the sidelines, waiting for something to happen, whether they're waiting for a better entry point or they're being patient with the market. I think right now is definitely a interesting time to be trading. And if you guys have been successful trading in these past few weeks, give yourself a pat on the back. I was talking to a guy the other day who said that he's been trading since the year 2000, and he said this is one of the hardest trading weeks he's seen in equities in a very long time. So if you were able to be successful during this time, definitely give yourself a pat on the back. And I think once the uncertainty kind of dissipates and the market kind of chooses a direction, I think you guys will be very well off and you'll perform extremely well.
That's awesome that you just said that, because we killed it.
Right, yeah. I mean, dude, the volatility, right, spies up, spies down, spies up, spies down, right? It's a lot of indecisiveness in the markets. OBR actually had one of their best weeks yet for success. It was a great week, and a lot of people made a ton of money. Thanks, Orlando. Thanks for stopping by. NU is a digital banking IBO on Robinhood. Yeah, I don't know. I would not say that that's going to have a big impact on.
Yeah, I don't see see
Yeah.
it being correlated.
I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see that affecting anything. Not that that's a bad question. We're just right. IPOs, unless it's like a major IPO, like a huge one, like Coinbase was massive, Robinhood was a massive IPO. Logan, what's a big IPO that you could think of just off the top?
Rivian was
Rivian was a big one. What'd you say, Logan?
That's
Or Ben?
Snow was like
Snow
one
was
of the
a
most
big one.
infamous ones. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, there are big IPOs, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to look in to see what NU is IPOing at. I want to know what their market cap will be with the IPO at, the price per share. Yeah.
cool.
Alrighty,
Just
guys,
coming up on an hour now.
Yeah, that's great. That's perfect. So, if you guys do have any other questions that you maybe that you didn't think of during this chat, that's fine. Just go ahead and add us, and I'm on my PC right now, but I have Discord on my phone too. So even if I'm not around, right, I'll see the notification on my phone, and I'll answer that question for you, right? And so will any other analyst that can get to you. So
Cool.
any help you guys need, we're here for you. All right.
Always. Thank you
Always.
all for coming out on Saturday night. We greatly appreciate your time, energy, and attention, as always. And we'll catch you in the market this week.
Yep. Take
Thank you,
Sunday
boys.
off. Don't look at the markets. Take it off. Disengage. You'll have plenty of time to trade Monday through Friday. So we'll see you then. Monday morning.
Cool.